Are going live for the first time in a long time here on this channel. Welcome everyone to our daily success call. John Lavenia here with you live from a remote location. I am not in my natural habitat, and this is our daily success call for Monday, the 31st of April. I'm sorry, it's May. My goodness. Sorry, what planet are you on, John? 31st of May, 2021. And I know that this is a new thing for a lot of people who are going to be coming here and tuning in each day, either live on Zoom. We're broadcasting on Zoom. I see Joanne tuning in right now, or via the interwebs. We do have our YouTube channel. You may be seeing this on the YouTube channel if you're seeing the recording. Either way, I'm glad to be here with you. This is something we're going to be doing every day, Monday through Friday. Hey, Joanne, I see you. I just met Joanne last night. She's a new member of our community. And this is for the purposes of building our e-commerce businesses as we get things going here with the system and everything that everyone in this community is going to be learning through the course material that you've got access to and all that. But where I come in is I'm going to be working with everyone on a daily basis regarding entrepreneurship and making that transition in many cases from employee and employee mindset into the person who is not only self-determined and self-sustaining, but actually thriving with all this, because there are a whole lot of people attempting to make money on the interwebs, right? And for those who do it in a certain way, there's a big piece of pie for you here. In fact, on that note, I'm going to talk with you a little bit about a topic that is dear to my heart, because having studied, and for those who don't know, I've been in the personal development and online marketing and all that in that space for, well, now 30 years, actually, if we really add it all up, almost 35 years. My goodness, I just recently dyed my hair, so I'm not showing so much gray. But yeah, back in my late teens, I started to look at, how could I be more resourceful in life? And in that case, it was just about, learning some basic stuff and doing things that were going to bring a better quality of life. But then after about a decade of that, I started to turn my attention to business, because after all, the whole idea of personal development or self-mastery and developing yourself into your ideal self also includes having some prosperity, right? Having even, maybe a bit of, luxury, opulence, use whatever words are nice for you. And I found that I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that in the job, the workaday world. So I want to tell you a little bit about a little bit of history, because I know we've got a lot of new members who are going to be watching this and, again, either live and participating or on the channel. But I want to tell you a little bit about my last job that I ever had. And we're going back a couple decades now. But in this case, it was a job that I took out of desperation, because I had done some other businesses that wound up not working out in the long run. And so just, to pay the bills and keep the lights on, I took this job. And I made about $100,000 a year, which some people might say, well, John, that's better than the average. Of course, we're going back 20 something years now, right? So that's when 100,000 a year, six-figure income was, worth a little bit more than, I guess, gas in your car and, eating ramen noodles and whatever. But my lifestyle sucked. Like, truly, it was 70, 80 hours a week. In my case, I had the office politics I had to deal with. I was getting my pay cut 3 times a year, which they called a promotion. That was interesting. But I was cut out to be an entrepreneur, but wasn't quite sure what my path was. In other words, because I had some successes and some failures, and who hasn't, right? Hopefully you can relate to this. We have our successes, we have our failures, but because those failures seem to be things that I clung to, they seem to be, despite all, my best intentions and, attempts to develop myself into the best version of me that I could be, I kind of identified with those failures. And I started to wonder, am I even cut out to be an entrepreneur? I don't know if any, is that just me? Am I unique? Probably not. Okay. But that's sort of self-questioning kind of a thing. But it wasn't until, and this is the interesting thing, I got to a point where if you could picture a rubber band and you stretch the rubber band, you get to a point where that rubber band is going to pull one side or the other back, or it's just going to snap. And that's where I was at. I was under so much stress. It actually ended me in the hospital with a stress-induced condition. And in my early 30s, by the way, doctors were saying to my wife, your husband will be dead in 5 years if he keeps going like this. So my rubber band had gotten stretched really far, but I didn't know what to do. Like I had some goals, right? And they were significant goals for me, right? Basically to double my income and to actually enjoy some aspect of my life and to buy a new car. I always wanted a new car. Anyway, so I was in that job, making 100 grand a year and basically living right at my means. Well, an interesting thing happened, and that is when the pain of not changing got to the point where it was so great that I just had to start looking at other things, opportunities started to show up in my life. Now, not all opportunities are created equal. Okay. And I can tell you that since then, since this moment where I did transition into successful entrepreneurship, for that final time, coming out of the job world into successful entrepreneurship, I've had a bit of a roller coaster ride. And again, I'm sure many people can relate to this, right? No one goes through life unscathed, but I've made the millions and I've lost millions, right? I've ridden that roller coaster. But I will tell you this, my worst day as an entrepreneur is still better than my best day ever working a job. That's real for me. That may or may not be real for you. Okay. So certainly a lot of people in the job world, right, or of the employee mindset, can appreciate the predictability, assuming you have it, right, or the so-called security of a steady paycheck. But there are us entrepreneurs, even if you're still working a job right now, you've got that entrepreneurial spirit and you want to reach higher than mediocrity. The old saying, good is the enemy of great. You're not interested in good. You're interested in great. You're interested in expansion. You're interested in not only incremental, but exponential increase for yourself, your family, your lifestyle, your ability to contribute to things that are important to you, right? Causes, movements, mankind, et cetera. You can do a whole lot more good with money than you can without. And so no apologies about it. No apologies. We're here to, as I like to say, make a spectacle of ourselves. Okay. But here's the big question. Who's in the driver's seat? Who's going to do this? If the internet's here and e-commerce is here and all of this stuff exists, and it does for anyone, and if any bozo can show up and maybe make some money, maybe lose some money, I don't know, right? The big question then is, why you? Why are you going to stand head and shoulders above the masses, the people who come and go, the weekenders, right? The hobbyists? It's a great question to answer. Hopefully you've got an answer for that. I'm here to help you explore that and come up with some very solid answers for that and some expectations that go beyond just, getting by or paying your bills or striving and, barely surviving or whatever. So anyway, back to my story. When I finally made the decision, and that's really what it was, a decision that I didn't quite know how to fulfill. All I knew was I knew what I wanted. I wasn't vague about that. But when I made that mental shift, opportunities started to show up in my life. And it was very, very interesting because it wasn't even how I expected it to show up. My best thinking got me this far, but not further, right? Perhaps you've experienced that you had to become coachable. And I can tell you the surest way to make sure you learn nothing is to think you already know, right? That's the death sentence right there. I already know. Oh, that's a dangerous spot, right? So I had to recognize that, yeah, I'll get credit for what I've done up to this point. I've survived. Hooray for me. But is that it? Did I come just to come this far? Great question to ask yourself. Did you come this far just to come this far? I don't think so, right? Or you wouldn't be striving for more. You wouldn't be reaching for more. So what happened for me was after years of missing my goal, and very frustrating, by the way, that is. But after years of missing it, I finally got it. And it didn't take long. You see, my expectations up to that point were based on yesterday's performance, as if somehow that sets a precedent for what I should expect moving forward, right? Dragging yesterday into today, hoping to create a better tomorrow. But when I did transition and I just decided, you know what, I'm willing to forsake some of my best thinking and most cherished beliefs, because look at the result, right? I became coachable. Everything changed. Now, how do we reconcile entrepreneurship, self-determinism, being a hard-charging person, saying, I will set these goals, I will reach higher, I will do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to get the goal. How do we combine that with, at the same time, coachability? Well, you see, there's two different paths here. There's the path of the pioneer, and there's the path of the student. The pioneer path is interesting because, as the old saying goes, right, the pioneers have the arrows in their back, right? Actually, is that even an old saying? I don't know, but it sounds good to me. So maybe it's a new saying. And you're, going through the brush with your machete, carving new trails of adventure. Okay, so that's got its uses. Okay, but there's also the path of the student, where the trail has already been cut, and with, I think, tremendous advantage, we can simply walk that path that others have walked before us. And in fact, and here's what I want you to consider, because they've already cut the trail, can we do it faster, better? We can. The whole idea of leadership, I think, okay, is that the next generation, so let's say you're brand new right now, like I see my friend Joanne here, and apparently, just so you know, Joanne, they're in the process now of announcing this. This is the first time we've gone live with this. So, Joanne, forever you will be special in my heart because you are here with us live on the very first broadcast. So, but we're going to have hundreds of people on here. Just wait and see. So what was I talking about? I was talking about something. You see, that's what happens when I get distracted. But I've got all these intentions, and I'm looking to go even faster. Right, leadership. So is it possible that leadership could be about helping that next generation of people to do it even better than we did? So let's say we're just discovering e-commerce, right? We're just discovering all the things that you're learning about here, and you may be thinking, well, others have already done this. So disadvantage to me, I'm late to the party. One of the businesses that I run, myself and my wife, we run multiple businesses, but one of the businesses we run is with an e-commerce company doing like a shopping club thing, been around for decades. So yeah, we're decades late to the party with that sort of a thing, if you look at it that way, right? Because sometimes people think that there's such a limitation of opportunity. I've got to be first. I've got to do something so extraordinary, and I've got to come up with all new ideas, and I've got to be a pioneer, right? Well, I'll tell you what, that's a rough road. So no, you don't have to have that perspective. You don't have to perceive only that, people have been selling stuff online for a long time. I'm really late to the party. Here's the other perspective, and it's the one that I want to leave you with, and that is that you can go better, stronger, faster than your forebears because they've already cut through the jungle for you. And with a little bit of education, right? And then some nuance, right? You can put some spice on that, right? Create some points of differentiation and all this. But with a foundation that's already there, I want you to consider that you've got an unfair advantage. Yes, showing up late to the party is an unfair advantage. And you've got it. Now, what do you do with it, right? I mean, the internet has democratized the ability of us, us commoners to, be able to do business online and to communicate. What we're talking about here is communication. I'm communicating right now. I'm talking, you're listening, right? That's communication, okay? And we're doing it via some technology. Okay, great. So we've got technology that has allowed us to reach further and faster than we have before, okay? But that only serves us if we grasp it and if we use it as entrepreneurs, building on what's already there, right? So look at it that way, right? If you've already got these technological channels that you can use, right? You didn't have to pioneer that stuff. Oh, that's awesome. Unfair advantage, right? My daughter, listen to this. My daughter's 10 years old. She's already got her own business. In fact, at this point, I would qualify it as two businesses that she's running at 10 years old, thanks to technology, right? And I'm fully expecting that she'll be a millionaire by the time she's of age. She'll be my retirement plan, right? But the fact that she can do things that I could never do when I was 10 years old, right? So we are building on what we already know works for the purpose of going faster. Hopefully this is all making sense, because pretty much we get what we expect. And so if we come here into this community and we expect that this is going to be hard, just like the other thing you did, right? Because everything equals everything, right? So the other thing that didn't work out, or maybe this will work out, I'll give it a shot. I'll try it out. No. We got to hit the reset button. So let today be the reset button that you press, metaphorically speaking. And by the way, that's a reset button, not an easy button. Okay. I know in some office supply stores, they sell an easy button as kind of a gimmick. You can put it on your desk. Okay. There is no easy button. All right. You're going to work, which is fine, right? Work is good. There's joy in work. Work is on purpose action. What else are you doing with your days, right? On purpose action. Well, that's good. So we're working. Okay. So we're going to work, but I want you to hit the reset button, if you're willing to, in terms of your expectations for what you can and will accomplish in the next, let's just look at short term, 30, 60, 90 days. We'll expand on this as we go forward. But 30, 60, 90 days is typically a range where people could see, here's the carrot. Here's something that I really want. Here's something I really, if I can have that, well, that would be pretty impressive. Is it an extra few $1,000s a month? Okay, great. Here's the question. What's the money for? Money is just ink on paper or data on a computer screen, right? If you had $1 million more in your bank account right now, like right now in this exact moment, if you had $1 million more in there, would your life be any different right now? I mean, right now in this exact moment, not 5 minutes from now, right now. So present time, if the numbers were different in your bank account, would your life be any different right now? No, you'd still be here listening to me on this video, right? You'd still be in the location you are. Okay, so nothing would have changed. So I want you to put money in its place. It's a tool for you to use. Okay, unapologetically. Best way to help the poor is to not be one of them, right? So go make money. Okay, that's cool. We're going to work on that. But what's the money for? It's actually easier to experience exponential increase than it is to experience tiny little increase if you've got a good enough reason for the exponential increase, for the big numbers, right? For essentially hitting that reset button and saying, you know what, I'm divorcing myself now from whatever that was, you know, my sins of the past. That was last year, last month, 5 minutes ago. That's not me now. That's not right now. Present time. Here's where I'm going. Here's where I'm going. And I know it. And I will do whatever it takes for as long as it takes. In other words, we've got a true reset that's possible in terms of our expectations for what we accomplish moving forward. It's a beautiful thing to do. I've done it because I've had to do it several times. Just in case Joanne or anyone else is wondering, I haven't arrived, right? I'm not manifesting fish and loaves or anything, right? I'm just another bozo on the bus. Okay, I've just been on the bus a little bit longer, and so I know a couple of things, allegedly. I'm a few million down the road, okay, from where most people are at. That being said, I want nothing more than for you to experience every last drop of benefit from your efforts on the internet and with e-commerce and in this community, okay? And I want you to do it to such a degree that you can then lead others into perhaps making that transition themselves if that's what they want. I mean, look, is anyone here not aware of other people who are not rolling around in piles of cash in their living room right now and who aren't named Rockefeller or whatever, right? Is there anyone else who could use increase in their life? Well, why don't you go be an example of that? Why don't you go inspire somebody? I mean, that's a good thing to do. It's an interesting idea too, because now your success is bigger than just you and your Lamborghini or whatever you want to buy. Now it's a bigger mission. Think about that. So the responsibility level comes up, the causation level comes up. We're going to dig into this stuff. And I know for our first ever broadcast on this platform, I went in a few different directions. And what I'm going to ask you to do is leave me comments. We've got the YouTube channel now. So this is, for recordings for people who aren't able to make it here live. I know we got Aussies, we got Brits, we got people all over the Americas, I think South Africa. So we got people going to be coming here from all over the place. There is no perfect time to do this, by the way. So we're doing it when I can fit it into my schedule, and it's going to be this time every day. And yes, I get it. It's the middle of the night for some of you. And in some cases, when I'm traveling, it'll be the middle of the night for me. So we're just going to do it here, and leave me comments. And then if you can tune in live as much as possible, I'll be tuning in live every day. Okay. So obviously, John, because you're the host. Yeah, I get it. But you could take ownership of this too, because we're building this community, and each and every one of you are going to find out that you're an important part of this. You're not just bits of data on the internet. Okay. This is about people. And I want you to know that. Rachel wants you to know that. This is about people. Okay. And you're highly esteemed people, which is why we put this format in place. So if you got ideas, questions, topics you want discussed, of course, you also have your accountability reps who are going to be assisting you with getting through your accelerator program. So there's a bunch of sort of behind curtain number 2 kind of modules back there where you're going to see, what goes on with some of this higher level stuff with advanced students and really operating at a much higher level. So get through that. And that's a process. Okay. So you go through that for your first week or so. And then we're going to be getting together again, more privately and talking about your business strategy. So anyway, get excited. There's a whole lot coming down the pike. This was episode uno of our daily success calls here in the system. So Joanne, thanks for clicking the link and joining us live. For those of you tuning in on YouTube, feel free to leave comments. And Gail, thank you for all you do helping behind the scenes. I'm sure they're getting the announcements out. Most people have no idea that this just went live today. So we need to make stuff known. We'll go ahead and wrap up with that. Before we do, Joanne, if you got anything you want to say or ask, feel free to come out. You're live with us, and you can click the unmute button. You can do your thing. Once we've got hundreds of people on here, we're going to have to do the hand raising thing. But right now, it's just us girls talking here today, right? So Joanne, anything for you?
Thank you for today's episode. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I got you now.
Okay, good. No, I just want to thank you for inviting me on today's program. A lot of good, insightful wisdom, even though very brief, but I captured what I need to capture, and I'm excited. So thank you.
I'm so glad you're here, Joanne.
Yeah, same.
Thank you. All right. And you look great in the grass. That's some really big grass that you live in there.
I didn't realize I had this on, I guess, for my last Zoom meeting.
Very good.
So it was all right, my friend. But yeah, all right.
All right. We'll go ahead and wrap up with that. I'll see you all back here, same bat time tomorrow. Make it a great day. Thanks, Joanne. We'll see you real soon.